Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Boomer Live. And as we ended the 1000th game of IPL, just have to say it was one of the best games so far in the tournament. What two crazy games! The triple nine and the 1000th one, just so two 200 plus scores being chased down. And to add to that, the highest score ever in Wankhede to be chased down. You have to say it had to be the 1000th game, and what a crazy finish. The OG Mumbai Indians vibe. That's what we got from the Mumbai Indians team. Tim David, you beauty, alongside it. Sky never went away. Tilak Verma was right there. And Yashasvi Jaiswal, who did score a century, will be hardened by. And in the earlier game today, Chennai Super Kings had their fortress breached by the Punjab Kings, who traveled to Chepauk, which Jaren will be having a thing or two to say about. But what a day of cricket. It started last evening, but it's now the next morning, you can say. So the next day in a couple of minutes. So it's been a whole day of cricket, and we are active as ever. I mean, we are energized because of the games which we got to see. Jen, welcome on the show, man. How are you doing? How did you cope up with all these games?
Oh, it was tough, I have to tell you, because especially the CSK game, we had it in the kitty. It was almost done and dusted, and then that over where Tushar Deshpande got everything wrong that he did, and then things just didn't go away in many ways. But it was still an incredible game, and then the evening one to see our rivals win. Not the best of days, so you would tell a CSK fan, but then kind of needed it because Rajasthan's
Yeah,
defeat
yeah, that was my
does mean
question.
that
You wanted your rivals to win today, maybe for one of those
yeah,
days,
it was that kind of a day, correct. So now that Rajasthan's not won it, it still means that parity is there and they are still
Yeah.
drawn with it. But yeah, you would have to say that it was that kind of a day where anything you set up, it was just going to be
Yeah.
chased by battles.
I agree with you totally on that because it was one of those weird days where I just felt anything could be possible today. You just get that feeling at the start of the game that even 200 is not safe. When Punjab, let's talk about this game first because I think Rajasthan versus Mumbai game is the right game to talk about because the mood is there. I know a lot of people are off to bed because it's next day, it's Monday morning next, but then they got an
Yeah.
entertaining Sunday to talk about at least. But let's talk about the game in general, right? Rajasthan 214. You reckon in the toss in Wankhede usually you don't bat first. That's one of the given fact, right? You back yourself to chase it down. I'm pretty surprised. It's the highest ever chase in Wankhede, and there's been no 200 plus chases ever in Wankhede. I mean, I'm very baffled by that stat because I thought Wankhede was a chasing ground. But that aside, you reckon that's something which Rajasthan should have considered? I understand they've lost a couple of games trying to chase down, but especially in a ground like this, you would really want Shimran Hetmar, Sanju, and Butler to really go out and chase any score down. Mumbai would have been under pressure if they were batting first.
Absolutely. I think Rajasthan just ended up playing into Mumbai's hands by taking that decision. Very surprised as well. I understand sometimes you have to play by your team's strength, but just didn't seem like today was that day because the conditions favored batting second, and also Mumbai's strength is to bat second. So now you've double whammied yourselves in the best way to put it. So
Yeah.
very surprised that Sanju took that decision. Also, I believe when you have a weak batting lineup, it's much easier when you're chasing than when you're setting a target because setting a target, as you've seen, probably CSK, if you look at CSK, right, they have a very good batting lineup. That's why they've been successful in setting up targets. So I believe if you have a very good batting lineup, you rather decide to maybe even then it's okay to set a target. But when you have a weaker batting lineup, it's probably better off to chase a target down. You've seen so many teams with weaker batting lineups do that. Sunrisers, for instance, used to do that in that 2016 IPL where their batting was only based around David Warner. So
Yeah.
that's something where I'm very surprised with Rajasthan taking that decision today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something which we have to really talk about as well. Welcome, Sandeepan, in the show. I feel you're doing good. But Sandeepan, we were talking about a crazy day of cricket which we had. It started last evening, but we had two entertaining games. Yeah, coming to the very fact, Sandeepan, that innings from Yashasvi Jaiswal, let's appreciate that first. You have to say at this point of stage, this guy is there to play for India for next 10 years. He is there and he's there to stay. And that was a magical knock right in front of the Mumbai crowd. It's home ground in front of Sachin Tendulkar, and he's yet another generational batter coming from Mumbai because every era you get one generational talent from Mumbai, and I feel this is him from this era.
Yeah, I think it was a special knock, scoring 124 off 62 when some of the bigger hitters really struggled from the Rajasthan camp. So they did not have any momentum in that middle overs period, but still you had a Yashasvi Jaiswal doing the job finally, because like he was getting those starts, he was getting those 60s 70s, which I will not call starts. Those were great knocks in itself, but he was not being able to convert it. It was just on the cards. I mean, the way he was batting, it just looked on the cards that one day he's going to just go ahead and score that 120 because he was scoring those 70s 60s with ease. I think the one problem that he was facing was probably after the power play he was finding it a bit difficult to get a hold of those boundaries. But I think today it was just one of those days where it was just coming out nicely for him, and Wankhede has been one of the flattest decks in
Yeah, I
this
agree.
season of the IPL, along with Chinnaswamy and Eden Gardens. So it was a special knock. I think if we would have had some support from the other end, we could have
Yeah,
probably seen a 220, 230, and that would have been out of Mumbai Indians'
I
reach.
agree. Yeah, firstly, Saloni, I don't think I did my bros. I read your question yesterday as well. It's Sandeepani who has done his bros. Definitely not me, bro. It's Sandeepani. Look at him. He's one of those guys who goes for waxing, goes for bros, gets his beard shaped. One of those
I won't
guys. I'm not
even
that.
say anything regarding that because I know able to sort of say
Oh,
all
I
these
do
things
it. I do it.
without
Or
no no
you do it.
you just say this for people without knowing anything or saying anything. But
Sandeepani does
yeah,
waxing
just
as well, guys. Just
no, I
joking.
don't do any of it. But yeah,
But talking about which, I think that pitch had all the grass waxed off that surface. What did you make of that pitch, Jaren? Because I felt at one point of stage that the pitch was a 180 pitch, was what I felt, especially when Rajasthan was batting, when they lost Sanju Samson and when they were trying to build it up. But then that Yashasvi Jaiswal's last blow is what exactly took them to 215 and close to 215 at least. Now, if you look in the larger scheme of things or in hindsight, you could have really said they were really below par in the largest scheme of things. It could have been a 230 pitch, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It just felt like Rajasthan gave away a very good start that they had. No, I'm not. I mean, 200. The score that they had is still pretty good, but then it was a very good pitch to bat on, and we saw that with Mumbai as well. They didn't exactly have the kind of start they would have loved to have, but they were, round about it. They didn't allow things to get away from them, and everyone contributed, and that's what was the greatest thing about it. But if you remove Ishan Kishan's 28 or 23, once again, stellar knock if it was a evening session in a day and night test match. But according to the kind of target that they had, it's surprising that they went for it. And but aside from him, right, Cameron Green, Suryakumar Yadav, Tilak Verma, even Tilak Verma, I would have to say probably can be a little quicker, but then you would still take that any day, especially when Tim David was going the way he was. He didn't have much of a job but to give the strike to Tim David. But having said that, if you look at Rajasthan on the other end, very surprised that they couldn't get going. None of them did. Samson and Butler had somewhat of a start. Butler did not look like himself today, though. And then
yeah.
after that, no one really did anything. Today, I felt was Holder's day, but Holders just seemed like he was not able to read spin at all. Then got out to Jofra Archer surprisingly. I just couldn't make up. It just seemed like everyone in that Rajasthan's batting order came to fail. But still, having ended up scored 212, you have to give credit to this Rajasthan team. Shows how good they are, even on probably what was one of their worst days in IPL. They just still did a
Yeah.
decent job.
Yeah, I agree. But before that, Kapil really says Rohit Sharma's and Ishan Kishan's contribution. I think we'll talk about that, but let's talk about Rajasthan once. Sanimani, talking about Rajasthan's batting at the 213 any given day, you really back yourself to defend it. And also given the fact that the first time ever any score in excess of 200 has been chased on Wankhede, that really surprised me when I heard that stat. But now that, you would have really backed Rajasthan do it because they've been a very good bowling side throughout this IPL as well. You reckon somewhere down the line they really missed the trick not playing Adam Zampa today because Adam Zampa's experience is something which you can never buy in the market. Number one, he alongside Chahal and Ashwin was creating that trio which is troubling a lot more teams. And to add to that, Jason Holder, they did try to promote him up the batting order, which we've been complaining for a lot of time. But as a bowler, he's not really stepped up in the IPL, or neither as a batsman. Now, either you bring an Obed McCoy or you play an Adam Zampa. But there's no middle ground to it at this point, isn't it?
I would only play Jason Holder in an IPL team because of his additional ammunition with the bat that he can provide for a team coming in down the order, probably at 7, 6, 8. Today he came in at number 5. You had been calling for it for him to get the promotion of the order. But I think talking about the batting, it was just a Yashasvi Jaiswal, so nothing else. If a batsman is going on to score 124 of 62 and you manage only 212 as a whole team on a flat deck, I think you are doing something wrong. But apart from that, I think if you talk about the bowling, Jason Holder, I felt once again he's not your death overs bowler. Not just the death overs bowler, he was struggling to have any control over the ball. Not just his last 2 overs. I would also say his second over was the best one, right after the strategic timeout, because that was the only over where he was bowling according to plans, according to the field. Apart from that, I think first over had 2 full tosses or 3 full tosses, which Surya Kumar Yadav couldn't really capitalize on. Second over had a couple of full tosses as well, and in the last over you could see he was under pressure. And when Tim David is going strong at Wankhede, it is very difficult for any bowler to sort of keep it under 17. 17 was needed of the last over, but I mean he was all over the places today, and he's not a proper death bowling option, and that is where I feel they could have persisted with a Kuldeep Sen, because 1 over once again. He considered 19 runs of the first 3 balls, including that no ball. Then he came back strong, gave away just 1 run of the last 3 balls. He is your impact player. You should have some sort of confidence to give him the ball when you know. Okay, Trent Bolt did a brilliant job in the back end, but when you know you have Trent Bolt, Jason Holder are your only bowlers to defend a total of required rate, when the required rate is around 12, 13. You have to give your faith. You have to put your faith in Kuldeep Sen, and this is not the first time I'm seeing Sanju Samson not do that, because you had another game, if I remember correctly, he had Kuldeep Sen had bowled 2 good overs. He was not tried out in the death overs. So I mean, Rajasthan Royals, if you are not going to use Jason Holder as a batter, and Jason Holder is really struggling with the ball, not a death bowling option, you can just probably drop him and then go with the Obed McCoy as well. I think Zampa would have been a great option, especially because but I think Zampa is that tactical player for you, whom they'll bring against sides like CSK, probably sides like KKR as well.
And also to add to that, what do you make of that tactical substitute call? Because I know Kuldeep Sen came and he was disappearing, right? Someone like Surya Kumar Yadav was just itching for someone like Kuldeep Sen to just come into ball. And nowadays, when fast balls next to 140 balls, these batters are like bowling machines, man. Like they go into cricket 0-7 mode. They're like, wait a minute, we're gonna go all out and attack them and take them out of the park. And that's exactly what happened. That really turned the momentum, because it was 108 runs required of 48 balls. Then all of a sudden, the rate came down to 88. That 20-run over just took the game away from Rajasthan Royals, and the momentum shifted completely on the Mumbai Indians side. And Rajan on Sunny, neither of you can answer that.
Yeah. I think I'll just say on this, because 109 needed of 8 overs, especially when you had 1 over from Ashwin causing just 3 runs, and then you had Chahal come in and bowl a beautiful over considering just 2 runs. So you had 5 runs of 2 overs. I think that was time, or the tone was set for bringing in a Trent Bolt right back then, because you did not have any other spinning options. You could have probably gone with Trent Bolt right back then, because 2 overs was left from Trent Bolt. If you would have come in the 13th over, you did not have to bowl him in the death overs. You could have saved a Kuldeep Sen, especially bring him for that death over, try to nail those Yorkers. I think that is where Sanju Samson really lost the plot. I think captaincy-wise, tactical decision-wise, Rajasthan Royals, who have been brilliant in this IPL and in the last IPL as well, I think they were off. They were completely off today with both their calls. Even getting in a Jason Holder at number 5 ahead of a Shimran Hetmeyer, I won't do that, because Shimran Hetmeyer low on confidence, did not score in the last 3 games, but before that he was in prime form, coming in at number 5 for Rajasthan Royals, winning you games. So I wouldn't demote Shimran Hetmeyer below Jason Holder in my batting order, because that will not do him a lot of good with the confidence as well.
Absolutely. I mean, let's shift to the Mumbai Indians team, because they deserve a lot more appreciation today rather than we talking about Rajasthan Royals playing poorly, because sometimes you just have to give it to Mumbai Indians. Sometimes you just have to give it to the winning team, because they were the better team today. Jaren, coming to you, as we already see the comments of Tim Kaka, I think he reminisced me of Kevin Pollard, the prime Karen Pollard, who just comes in and takes the game away. And Kapil says our team had lapses in patch. That's why they collapsed like a place of them. After Riyan Parag, most pathetic player right now is Ishan. Ishan Kishan and a story. Kapil, I know we have to make a documentary. If I were to make a cut scene out of every Ishan Kishan conversation, it'll be a 2-hour documentary of Boomer 11 on Ishan Kishan. I think I'll release it at the end of IPL. I'm going to name the prodigal son, and rest is history. As I'll definitely do that when we have time, and I'll definitely let the editors know as well. But let's come to the Mumbai Indians team, because despite of the openers not really flashing today, it really showed the power of this batting team. Something which a lot of teams were worried about, and today they all came into the fore. Likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, likes of Cam Green, likes of Tim David, Tilak Verma also did come into the party. That middle order powerhouse now will start to believe that they can chase any score down. Something like what Chennai did the other teams, or and take the game away from them.
I mean, absolutely. First of all, I mean, it was Wankhede again. I'm very surprised, like you mentioned, that 200's never been chased down here. But what I have to do, I mean, what you have to also look at it is, it's just you knew that these players had the potential. It's just they've had issues where they've played the rash shot or the wrong shot, or they ended up putting too much pressure on themselves initially. Today, what you saw from even someone like Cameron Green was an innings which was very fluid. He was not someone who came in, took a lot of time. He was someone who kept going at it, and I think that's one thing that has changed. And I mean, Dhoni himself in the press conference said it as well. When you have got that extra batter in impact sub, that really has helped these batters, remove that fear factor of losing a wicket, because now they believe they've got that extra protection as well. And you saw that from Mumbai today. It just seemed like they weren't worried at all, and they felt like they could really make a comeback. I mean, they did score 58 in the first 6 overs, but then it just seemed like Ishan Kishan was not getting a move on, and Rohit Sharma's wicket was very quick as well to fall. So from there on, for the middle order to really take over, you have to give credit to them. They were very mature as well. All of them, the way they played, they paced their innings well, and that's the reason why you got that result. Because after Tim David, right, you probably wouldn't have seen much batting come as well. I think the next batter slotted in was probably Jofra Archer. Given that they would have probably
You had
gotten
Arshan,
an
you had
impact.
Arshad Khan and Nihal Vadera waiting
Yeah.
in the ranks. I mean, Arshad Khan.
But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get the same quality that you would get from the likes of Tim David and Tilak Verma. So also, it would have been a difficult choice for them to or difficult position for them to really chase down. Maybe let's say a 30 of 18 or something like that if the wicket had fallen then and there. So that's why credit really has to go to both Tilak Verma and Tim David. What I really
Yeah.
liked about Tim David's innings today was he did not play a rash shot. We saw that against, which is the previous game where he got out on the first delivery. I think it was Gujarat Titans, where first delivery that came up, I understand it was a full toss, but he did end up playing a very, I wouldn't call it a nothing shot, but a false shot. And from there on, it just seemed like the game was getting over. That's where, maybe Tim David could have been a little bit more careful. But today, though, he paced his innings brilliantly.
I agree totally with you on that. But one thing we should talk about at the same time is that innings of Cameron Green, right? I thought that particular innings laid the foundation, because Rohit Sharma was dismissed cheaply once again. I really did not want him to get dismissed cheaply on his birthday, 1000th game, and this couldn't have been the right way to go about it. Because see, one thing I'll have to agree that Rohit Sharma, something is not working for him at this point. I think he should just give up on IPL captaincy, in my opinion. He's achieved it all, man. I know it's just my opinion. I think everybody will disagree with me. Mumbai fans will go gaga at me on Twitter for this, but I don't care. But just want to ask Sandeep his opinion on this. Do you reckon at this point, him leading India in two crucial formats at least for this year, you should just give up on IPL captaincy, just take a break, just let Rohit Sharma be himself, just go out there, have fun, man. Let Surya Kumar Yadav do that job, or anybody else do that job, because I think he's, I've seen that with Virat Kohli as well towards the latter end of his captaincy race. I just don't feel him as a batter is coming into play a lot because of his captaincy pressure. And I just don't like this talking about Rohit Sharma, because him, the batter, is much more important in Mumbai Indians than him, the captain, at this point, because he has done the job. And I think Kieron Pollard can assist someone like Surya Kumar Yadav to really take that role up, because you've seen that in 2020, 2021, whenever they were doing well, you saw Kieron Pollard do that job. And now Surya Kumar Yadav is set, and that transition can take place pretty smoothly as well. Because Rohit Sharma has got now good 2 to 3 years with Mumbai Indians, and that is what I personally feel. Let's talk about that, Sandeep, before we talk about Mumbai Indians batting in depth as well.
Yeah, I think honestly, I feel too much workload, and I think Rohit Sharma was one of the players, or he's the Indian captain. He came on to say before the IPL as well. It depends on the management on how much breaks the players are going to get. But him coming out before the IPL, making a statement like that, I felt at least he was going to take a break from this season's IPL for at least 7 to 8 games, because I thought if you want to manage the workload of a player, and he's the captain as well. We saw that in that game against KKR where he was an impact substitute. Surya Kumar did a pretty decent job captaining the side in that 20 overs of KKR's batting. So I think, yeah, I totally agree with you, especially because this is the ODI World Cup year. Too much pressure of him being the captain of the host nation as well for the World Cup year. So there's a lot riding on Rohit Sharma right now, and I think we need Rohit Sharma the batter back, not for Mumbai Indians. I think we need Rohit Sharma the batter back for the ODI World Cup. I think he was the second highest or leading run scorer in the last edition of the World Cup, scored 5 centuries in the World Cup. So I think we need Rohit Sharma at his best come the World Cup, and I think he deserves, needs and deserves a break as well. So 7 games, 6 games left. Mumbai team is in a sort of transition right now. You see all these young players, Nihal Vadera, Arshad Khan, Arjun Tendulkar getting in opportunities, Kartikeya, Ritik Shawkin. So there are lots of young cricketers, young players getting opportunities for this franchise right now. So in this transition phase, at least I think they could have given the baton, passed on the baton to Surya Kumar Yadav just to see how he goes this season. And I think with Kyle and Pollard in that coaching staff, you have a lot of experience. You have
Yeah.
a lot of players. I mean, they know what to do, what the team is expecting of them. It's just
Yeah.
you need to just clarity. The role clarity is needed when it comes to the top order. I feel right now because Ishan Kishan, Rohit Sharma, they're not gelling well together as well. I think Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan are not the best opening pairs that you see in T20 cricket or cricket in general for any format. So I think they can just
Maybe one
Rohit
day
Sharma
they
can just
might
take a break.
do a better job. I think from in one day format, I think they can do a better job. The reason why I think Ishan Kishan is not fitting in, I mean, I totally understood why Ishan Kishan was promoted up
Yeah. I mean,
higher.
I think
Ishan
Kapil,
Kishan
if you're there,
used
I
to
think
be
you're
a
going to enjoy
dasher.
this conversation.
Yeah, I
Yeah, go
think
ahead.
I mean Ishan Kishan used to be a dasher in the power play, and he used to be very aggressive initially. What and that really fit in with Rohit Sharma. If you look at Rohit Sharma's IPL career as a batter, he's always done well when he's been sandwiched by batters who are very aggressive or who go all out at the players. I mean, at the bowling. For instance, Quinton de Kock, or if you, I mean, any batter for that matter. Now with Ishan Kishan, what's happening is Rohit Sharma has to take up the role to be the dasher in the power play, and Ishan Kishan is playing the longer innings. I don't think that works for a batter like Rohit Sharma. So I think that's why maybe it's time you promote. I would love to see someone like a Cameron Green up the order. I know he's doing a great job there, but at this point in time, it doesn't look like Ishan Kishan is doing a good enough job. Or maybe you get an opener out of the auction, maybe not a foreign option, maybe an Indian option, but try and get an opener who can be the dasher early on, so Rohit Sharma gets the time to settle in and play a longer innings.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you totally. But I think let's not talk about Ishan Kishan anymore because it's not worth it.
No, I think I'll just
It's a
say the
strong word.
opening partnership in
But
general is not clicking, right? The opening partnership in general is not
I
clicking.
mean,
Either
I personally
Ishan Kishan
feel
is getting out
what is
early.
happening with Rohit Sharma is he always wanted a dasher in the other. With Quinton de Kock and Rohit Sharma, what used to happen is Rohit Sharma could settle in and play his innings, but now with
Precisely.
Ishan Kishan consuming a lot more dot balls, Rohit Sharma has to be unlike himself. And Rohit Sharma, whenever he tries to play that aggressor up top, it's never worked in his favor. We've been all talking about the template, but then we should also agree to the fact that Rohit Sharma has scored the fastest ever 100 not by just being a dasher, trying to be a reckless player. He maintains his shape while doing that. So, and he takes a little bit of time, takes 10 balls maybe, and he can make up for that. And that's what I mean. I might sound a little old school, but then that's what the strength of the player is. And we all know Rohit Sharma
Yeah.
has got a power game more than anybody else in the country because he can make up for the lost balls. He can take on the spinners. He can take on the pacers once he gets set. And that's what Ishan Krishna is not allowing him to do. Now, what Rohit Sharma is having is a shackle behind him and he has to break free. In order to do that, what can possibly he do? He might have to change an opening partner. Maybe bring a Cam Green up top. Maybe put Ishan Kishan number 3 is not a bad option at the end of the day. Maybe Ishan Kishan will have a better clarity of thought when he's put at number 3, where he can just go out there and express himself. Doesn't matter if it is Ishan Kishan number 3, Surya at 4, Tilak at 5. I think that'll give a left right combination through the middle overs as well. Maybe Mumbai Indians should try it. I mean, you win games, but then ultimately your larger goal should be to create a structure, which I don't think they have created, despite of them having a lot of resources in their hand as well. Jen, coming to you on that point as well, do you reckon now Mumbai should seriously look into maybe Ishan Kishan because he's not giving you value at the end of the day. 15 crores, maybe release him, maybe buy him back for lesser amount and see how things goes as well for the next season because he has consumed a lot of purse, which is really constrained Mumbai Indians to a large extent.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they tried with Ishan Kishan at the top of the order has not worked. What they wanted him to do was take less deliveries, give Rohit Sharma that space. But now what's ended up happening is Rohit Sharma has had to adjust that game, and he himself is trying to be the aggressor and try and give Ishan Kishan the space. So I don't think that's what you want, especially when Rohit Sharma has been one of your better stars for a long time. And what has worked for you has been a dasher up the order. The idea was, you let go of Quinton de Kock, have an Indian wicketkeeper who can do the same job as Quinton de Kock. That's not really come to fruition. So that's the reason why I feel maybe if you really believe in an Ishan Kishan and you think he can do the job for you, put him in number 3, like you mentioned, Abel, and ask Cameron Green to be the dasher. He's done that job excellently for Australia when that's where he got most of his success from. I mean, that's the reason why he got picked up in the
Yeah.
IPL as well. In that series where he was opening the batting with David Warner, where Aaron Finch was pushed down the order. Maybe that's something that he can try now, and it might just work.
Agree with you on that. Let's talk about Tim David, right? I think before we move to Chennai match, let's talk about Tim David. Now, going ahead, how much do you reckon they can get the best out of Tim David? Because now they kind of have a feeling that he can do what Kyron Pollard is doing. You reckon his batting position is fine at this point? Because I still think he should be coming a little bit more higher up the order in chases. Because today sending in Tilak Verma did work for them because it did not backfire. But on another day, they would have looked back at it and they would have been like, if Tim David would have consumed a little bit more balls, this would have been a different chase. If they would have been ended up on the losing side, what do you make of that, Sandeep? Because, like I mentioned for last match of Punjab, but not the game against Chennai, but the match before that, entry points of batters on certain chases are so important. And yesterday we did have a discussion on where Hendrik Klaasen should be batting, especially in these kind of chases. I think in chases in excess of 200, 220, Tilak Verma can come down the order or maybe alongside Nehal Vadera, however you want to go about it, because Tim David should be batting at least 30 to 35 balls. He can make a difference doing that. So rather than him facing just 15 balls, you don't want to regret it at the end of the day. Today, he faced a last over, hit 3 sixers, make you feel good. But on the other day, you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, what if Tim David have faced another 10 more balls?
Yeah, exactly, and I feel Tim David is a class batter as well. I mean, I haven't really seen him struggle against spin. Neither he loves space on the ball, so he's a very good finisher for you. But I haven't really seen him struggle against spin as well. So I think you can even get in a Tim David in the 12th, 13th over, a role that probably Russell used to play for KKR in 2018, 2019. Get him in the 12th or 13th over, and then so that he has that 20 at least 5 to 10 balls to settle himself get himself in, and then he's one of the cleanest strikers of the cricket ball, and he strikes them. I mean, he scores some big sixes. So it's always an added advantage to have such depth in the batting order as Mumbai Indians have right now, promoting Cam Green at 3, Surya Kumar at 4, Tilak Verma at 5. But I think when you have a target of when you need 13, 14 runs per over, you definitely need a Tim David ahead of a Tilak Verma, because no matter how good Tilak Verma is, Tilak Verma himself has said that he wants to come good for the team in chases and in especially finishing the job for the team. But I still feel Tilak Verma is more of a anchor player. I mean, anchor who can go at a strider of 140, 150 if needed. But I wouldn't bet on a Tilak Verma to come in and finish 72 runs of 6 overs every day for me. But if you give me a Team David, 72 runs of 6 overs looks chaseable and looks easy as well, because he can hit 3, 4 sixes in an over with ease.
Yeah. I agree with you totally on that. But we'll take some comments because there are some fun ones. We'll take that first. So Michael Andrew asks us, were you guys in church on the KK game? I kind of felt you in Badmash. Oh, UBCTs. I don't reveal that. I'm sorry, Michael, but I don't reveal the locations we are in. But yeah,
But I
you
think
did.
we were together with KKR absolutely thrashed RCB.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
with Abel.
You
Shut,
would have
shut
to
up,
see
shut up,
Sandeep
shut
Ali,
up, shut up. Those kind of nightmares I don't really remember. It's just like you remember those in
But
sleep.
my
But yeah, I don't
favorite
remember where I
moment
was.
was how
But I,
Sandeep Ali started the night off with a lot of frustration and ended the night
well,
smiling.
I'll give you all a tip. So this was like one of the first games we all saw together as Boomer boys, and one thing I'll tell you: what Sandeepan is an entertainer, man. And
Yeah,
next match, I'm gonna have a watch along
absolutely.
just for KKR game where Sandipani sits here. It's gonna be 18 plus content, but I bet you guys are gonna
No,
enjoy
I
it.
mean,
This is gonna be the
Saliman is
shooting
pretty
point of
shy
this
in front
channel.
of the camera. He
No, no, I
does,
think
No, no, no,
Sandipani,
no, no, no. He's not
Sandipani
gonna be shy
watching a KKR
100%.
game.
He was not shy in front of 100 people over there. You think he's gonna be shy in front of this camera? I don't think so, man.
No, I think it's not about the shyness, but I think Sandipani watching a KKR game, doing a
When is
watch
the
along
next
for a
KKR
KKR
game?
game
When is
is
the
not
next
good for
KKR
my
game? I'm just
heart.
gonna schedule it now.
I know it's not good for my heart. Watching a KKR game
Okay,
with all
KKR plays
the
on the 4th of May the
with
4th. So
yeah,
that's a
Sunrisers
nice way.
Hyderabad.
May the 4th be with you and Sandipani. And let's start that match. The live watch along with Sandipani, Kings 11 Punjab, the two teams he predicted to make it the top four.
No,
So
no, it's
it's gonna be
against
nice.
Hyderabad, I guess. SRH.
Oh, it's SRH, is it? Okay, nonetheless, I don't care. Anyways, I want to see Sandipani camp. That's what matters at the end of the day. I want to see the pure version, the raw version of Sandipani, how he appreciates his players, especially Jagdishan, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell. He loves them. He loves absolutely all of them. So I just want to see your camp. So come along on May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you all as Sandipani starts his live camp on this live. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, we'll take some comments before that. So Azal says, "What a freaking game!" I absolutely agree. He's so happy for Mumbai today, and he says Tim Kaka he did it. If team had losses, okay, we already took this. Okay, we already took Michael's comment as well. Teju's here, and Teju says, "Okay, Ishan Kishan is a scam. 15 clear." I don't know, man. Our channel is becoming Ishan Kishan hate channel. Guys, I already told you I'm making a montage on this. I will release it right after the IPL. And Oritra, sorry, I'm sorry, I am Bhattacharjee, not Oritra. Sorry. He says Sandipani, great work. Of course, we all are Sandipani's fans. It's Sandipani's
Yeah.
world, and we are living in it. That's what I say. And he seems one of those guys in salon. Sandipani, yes, he seems one of those guys in salon. And I've already said 50 hairstyle office. Okay, I don't know who this is. Abel is the salon guy for sure. Okay, fine. I'll
Oh,
take that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I think the comment section is way more intelligent than I mean we don't have to justify
Even
ourselves. Everybody knows who
yes.
goes to the salon,
I
who
want to
does
say
waxing,
Heather
who
was
does
born in
eyebrows.
10. Wait, let's talk about this. Okay, Heather Holder. Sorry, I read Heather. I'm like, कौन सा Heather? Holder was born like a 10-year-old guy at the level you can't ball. I agree with you. Holder's last over was just so bad. It reminded me of that Faulkner's over against Corey Anderson way back in 2014. It was very similar, trying to ball full tosses to a Mumbai batter and in Wankhede ground, and that was just bad, man. I thought
Only you did not have a Rahul Dravid getting agitated. I think that was the
didn't
only part
Chahal have
missing
an
from
over
that.
left? Didn't Chahal have an over left?
Yeah.
Towards the end?
Chahal had an over left. I
Chahal
think
had an over left, right? Why didn't they go for
after the
Chahal? That
12th,
was
after the 12th over, I think right when they brought in the impacts of Kuldeep Sen, like I mentioned, I think Trent Bolt over there, they could have persisted with Chahal if Surya Kumar Yadav wouldn't have taken the attack on Kuldeep Sen the way he did and then scored 19 runs of the first two balls or 20 runs in that over. I think they would have got in another over of Chahal, and also I think Chahal came in the 17th over, the over next to it, 14th over, and he was taken to the cleaners as well. Tilak Verma was hitting him. He hit a reverse sweep for 4, 6 over long off, and I think that is what prompted Sanju Samson not to go with Chahal. I don't. I have no problems with him not getting Chahal the 4th over, but I have a problem with him not giving Kuldeep Sen another over.
yeah, I agree with you on that as well because I think going to Holder was such a bad mistake. I know he did ball a very good over where he tried to come and execute his plans, but then why was he balling around the wicket as well? That was straight balling into Tim David's arc. Tim David is not a good. I know he can clear the offside rope, but then it's like you are telling him feeding it with his hands. I mean, that was just a bad move. Let's go to the next game. The game which happened earlier today. I think that's about it from Mumbai, and we've ranted enough and we've had all fun. All Mumbai fans, let's go to the Chennai game now. Jaren, how did you make of the match? Because I thought they were 15 runs above par the Chennai team because I thought 185 was a good score on that pitch because the pitch was holding on towards the lateral. That's why you saw Devon Conway also struggle towards the lateral. But Dhoni's 2 sixers towards the end really gave them that above par score. And then somewhere down the line, you believe the bowling was slightly below par today.
Absolutely. I mean, if you had a glance into that Chennai dugout during the last 5 overs, you would have seen a frustrated Stephen Fleming, and you don't see that usually. Even Dhoni was very vocal today in the press conference. Not something you see of Dhoni as well. He did go out to say that if you have a plan, you should stick to it. And it did seem like CSK bowlers, especially Tushar Deshpande, just seemed like completely out of sorts. Didn't seem like he had a plan. I mean, but I still wouldn't blame the team though. They're still a very young team, and again, I believe the death overs did not go well for CSK with the bat as well. We should have probably ended up scoring a lot more because the kind of the way we had gone, the kind of momentum we had, I think that was kind of sucked away because of the heat. Someone like Devon Conway just seemed to be very tired by the end of it. And I can understand it was a pretty hot day in Chennai as well. But it just seemed like he had lost both his power and concentration, not able to time the ball well. Jadeja, who came in again, couldn't really do much more. And I mean, obviously, you can't blame the team as well because these players had only 5-6 overs to really do something. But I felt that momentum kind of got destroyed, and in the same way, in a complete opposite way, when it came to the Punjab innings, they really gained momentum in the last 5 overs. So overall, CSK's death overs was not that great. I know with the bat, Dhoni's 2 sixes kind of took that away. But again, maybe probably another 15 runs short as well. Not looking at the pitch.
I
but
don't
rather
really
looking at
think
the
Chennai was 15 runs short today. I really thought personally for me on Chepauk,
No,
chasing
on
200 is a Herculean task.
I think
I mean,
what
last
I'm
time I
trying to
remember.
say is on Chidambaram, the pitch, that score is above par for sure.
Yeah.
But the way
Yeah.
the Chennai batters were batting, I think CSK, the potential that CSK's innings had,
Potentially.
that kind of
I mean
got
that also
reduced.
you reckon should be directly proportional to the way in which the pitch played out, because Chennai on usually on good pitches gets those score which is above par, and we've been talking about that throughout the season, isn't it? Where if it's a
Yeah.
200 pitch they get 220, if it's a 180 pitch they get 215. So that's been the case with Chennai Super Kings. Anybody coming to you, we have to agree, regardless of Chennai losing, Mahesh Patirana, they have found a gem who they've unearthed for the next 15 years for Chennai Super Kings. Not just that, he gave me goosebumps. I've never got any bowler really going like, wow, man, he really deserved to pull that over off. And when he really lost it, I felt really bad for him. Number one, I've not seen a bowler really have that nerve to defend 9 runs. And he's 21 years old, man. He ran in, he bowled those Yorkers, he bowled those slower ones, and he did everything he possibly could, but unfortunately he was not on the winning side. And also that catch, Sheikh Rashida's catch, was one of the best catches of this year, man. That catch not touching the rope, I don't know what was the dynamic of it. It was some kind of a magical thing right out of the movie script. But let me tell you one thing, that Mahesh Patirana guy, you have to say Sri Lanka I found a gem because of Chennai Super Kings, and CSK themselves can now rely on this bank who they used to worry. They've got their own Malinga hitting 145 plus,
Yeah.
balling those Yorkers and balling the slow balls. It was running back the years, 1000th game, and you had to run back the years.
Yeah, exactly. I think he did a terrific job in the back end as well, and I think that is what CSK expects of him, because you don't see Pathirana come into bowl before the 11th or 12th over in the innings. So he has complete role clarity, and they are going with him ahead of a Pretorius. That just goes on to show that they have a lot of confidence, faith in him to sort of be the death overs bowler for this CSK side. And I think if he continues to bowl like this, I think there are slight concerns where he can absolutely nail the Yorker in a better way. But I think not just the Yorkers, I think he was mixing his pace brilliantly, because sometimes the batsman was just expecting the Yorker and then he was bowling that slower length delivery, which was working wonders for the side. So I think all in all, I think it was a brilliant performance from him. But getting only 9 to defend of the last over, you can't really. He bowled his heart out. He bowled beautifully. Kudos to him, but it was just not CSK's day. And also talking about Rashid's catch, I personally I feel that his leg might have touched the cushions at least, because a player pulling off that catch won't respond in that manner after
Only
getting
if you had
the
some
catch.
sensor there, right? Because on naked eye, it did not turn. I also felt it. I agree with you, because you can't escape. You can't pull your leg from that angle. You might have scratched it, but you can't pull your
Also,
leg. It's science.
Let's forget about the pulling off the leg and everything. Just let's go into the expression of the player after taking the catch. I think that gave it away, because you will know you have touched the rope or not. And if you haven't touched the rope from that, I would have expected a wondrous celebration. But Rashid was confused. He was confused whether he had touched it or not. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
a player is iffy on that, I mean, I'll just.
I mean, we'll leave it. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
Punjab won't cry about it at all. It was just a good
I'll
catch.
I
That's
will
just
not
remained
stand and
out.
take the slander of Sheikh Rashid. I think it's completely unfair what you guys are saying. The boundary rope did not move at all, not an inch.
But
It's
you
not like it's
reckon
made
at
out of
times
stone.
you didn't boundary
Nah,
rope
you
to
guys
move
spoke.
to
It's my
face a
turn.
catch
And
being taken? Or
I
imagine you
think it's
just
just
touch
the
it. Like,
nerves of a
okay, Jen, I
19-year-old
just touch
guy.
you like this. I just touch you like very softly. Would you give that
You're
out?
telling
Or
me in that momentum he was slightly able to touch it? Nah,
no, no, no. He was not in the. He was not in a pacey momentum. He might have
yeah.
just
I
scratched
think it
it.
was the nerves of a 19-year-old guy thinking
Yeah,
he's dropped
but
that
that
one
reflex was
catch, getting
phenomenal,
a
man.
chance to
I mean,
play.
imagine he exerted a little bit of force that could have gone anywhere. That was six. But at the end of the day, we'll have to give it to Rashid. But let's talk about
Yeah, good.
Punjab Kings. But before that, Teju's question is very prominent. You reckon there was a mistake from Dhoni of letting Jadeja go up top ahead of him, or ahead of anybody, even ahead of Ambati Rayudu, because Jadeja has not been finishing games throughout the season. He's been struggling to time the ball. There's been something wrong with him. Maybe after that injury, he's not really looked that hard-hitting finisher. He's really been struggling a lot more. Even in the test matches you saw, he's taking a lot more time to get going. You reckon that's something which Dhoni should have considered or rethought of?
No, but that's not how CSK operates, right? That's the way CSK is. Once they've given a player a role, then that role is given to him anyway. I mean, it won't matter. It won't matter if you're not in form or if you're in form. What CSK does end up doing is, you would probably keep giving him chances till he starts doing well again. And Jadeja has done it for us. Also, if you look at the options, right? Obviously, you're not going to send someone like Ajinkya Rahane at that stage. That's pretty much not cricketing sense. So the only other option that you've had was Dhoni or Ambati Raidu. Now, Ambati Raidu has a lesser average and a lesser strike rate than Jadeja this season. So you would have probably, on the flip side, you would have probably end up saying that Jadeja would have taken, Ambati Raidu would have done a very similar job, if not worse off.
Yeah.
And Dhoni, I don't know if, the reason why Dhoni is coming off in the last possible minute is because of his knees. Today also you saw one where Patirana was balling the last over when, I think it was Sikandar Raza, when he missed that slower delivery. Dhoni was not
Yeah.
able to get down very quickly. It took him a while. And then Tikshana had to come running in from short fine leg and help him up. So he's really not that Dhoni who's going to take,
Yeah.
who's going to
Yeah.
run doubles and triples. And when Dhoni doesn't do that, he becomes half the player he is. And that's the reason why he's coming in the last few overs. So the best player to send at that point in time was Jadeja. And he did score 12 of 10. So you have to say he did a decent job. Could have done better. But then, yeah, you're right. Jadeja is not in that kind of form. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
really question that aspect of today's
Maybe not
match.
cherry pick on that particularly.
Yeah.
But let's talk about
No, but
Punjab because I
12 on
think
10 was 12 on 10 was something that
But,
shouldn't
but,
have
but
happened at
Sandeep,
this
we also
stage,
have to
right?
agree to the fact that at that point of stage, the pitch was getting really slow. And that's something
But
which we didn't mention as well. It was directly proportional to them not scoring a 220 and
but
ending up on
then
200
my
as well.
concern with Dhoni coming in so late is why does he, if he has to come in the 20th over, smash those two sixes, come in the 17th over, just do the same role. You don't have to run those twos. Just nudge the ball
Yeah,
around for
maybe,
singles and go for the sixes
maybe,
because he's
maybe, maybe.
striking the ball well.
But as Jaren also mentioned, maybe Dhoni just backs himself to bat 7 to 10 balls, not maybe 15 balls at this point. And you can understand that he's coming to the later end of his career. But
No, I
then
mean, if
we
you
have
also
to
look at it
say
in this fashion, right? It's not just
never
Dhoni
seen a
who's won
purple
those
cap
runs.
holder getting slandered in Twitter. I really don't like him to be a purple cap holder. He's not really impressed me. He's balled some questionable overs throughout this IPL, but then he has done a good job. He's been one of those Mohit Sharma kind of ballers straight out of Chennai Academy, who's not the most flamboyant in terms of being a purple
Shardul
cap holder.
Thakur. Shardul
I
Thakur
think
sort
Shardul
of a
Thakur,
the
player.
no, no,
issue
no,
with
no.
Tushar Deshpande
Shardul
is,
Thakur is good.
for me personally, right? He's got what it takes. He's got those Yorkers. He's got those slower deliveries.
But
For
Jen,
me, I
let's
think
say
he ends
that
up
at the start of the IPL, if you would have taken 17 wickets from Tushar Deshpande for the entirety of the
exactly,
season, you would have
exactly.
taken it.
Yeah, and my point being, he has got what it takes. It's just, his temperament sometimes goes lacking. He sometimes goes a little narrow-minded, when that's the difference between Patirana and Tushar Deshpande today. When Patirana was getting, when Patirana got hit for a boundary, he had an answer the next ball. But Tushar Deshpande, it just seemed like he was, hoping that the next one becomes a dot, or hoping that the batter makes a mistake the next delivery. But now, if you look at the way he got Liam Livingston out, that was pretty genius of him to ball that slower ball bouncer take it away from the arc of Liam Livingston. So that shows us something in this lad, but long way to go still in terms of temperament. I still believe to take 17 wickets in the IPL, you've got to have some caliber. So I think the issue really comes for him when he's really targeted, when batters go after him. The moment he's on top, you see he closes games off.
No, I
Yeah,
think also
absolutely.
another point why he has been able to take 17 wickets is because the batsmen have targeted him and he comes in to bowl all those difficult overs. Because out of the 17 wickets, I am pretty sure 10 to 12 will be caught at the deep. So I mean, yes, you are going
But
at an economy of over 10.
even today for that matter, he went for that 24 run over, which was the turning point, which we will talk about. But that wicket of Liam Livingston really put the game back in balance once again. He's got this weird knack of picking up wickets, which is helping CSK to
Shalom.
claw back
Yeah.
into these games. For example, the game against RCB, we picked up Dinesh Karthik in a very weird situation there as well. That game was RCB's game if Dinesh Karthik wasn't out. So he's got the knack of picking up wickets and turning the tide in a team's favor, and he's done that very well. So I think he deserves the credit for that, and he's a deserving purple cap holder as well. I don't think if you're picking up 17 wickets, you're an undeserving purple cap holder. I think you've done something good to do that. And if you've told me after that first game where he went for 50 runs, he'd be the leading wicket taker in IPL at the end of 9 to 8 games for Chennai Super Kings, I would be like, no way this is possible. And he's really done that. And credit to Chennai management. Eric Simmons has done a phenomenal job with Chennai Super Kings. We've often talked about DJ Bravo, but then Eric Simmons is a legendary coach. He's got that
Yeah.
experience. He brings that into the fore, and I think he's worked with these young boys a lot more. But let's talk about Punjab. I mean, what a perfect way to orchestrate a chase. They absolutely timed the chase with perfection. At no point did you ever feel like they were going behind the 8 ball game. After the fall of Atharva Talde, you really felt okay. Slightly they're just going behind, but then they clawed back again. You have to say Prab Simran Singh, Shikhar Dhawan gave the ideal platform for them to take off.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Both you. I mean, you have to say that today once again I was worried really that Shikhar Dhawan would take the game away from us like he's done over the years in IPL. Loves playing against us, but he was looking really good. He was looking like the Shikhar Dhawan of old. He was timing the ball. He was going on the back foot, cutting. He was coming to the front foot, driving the way he does. And he's got a very peculiar way of driving. He doesn't really get to the pitch of the ball, but when the ball leaves his bat, it flies. And but then again, Tushar Deshpande came out of nowhere, picked him up in the most unlikeliest of fashion, like we've seen him do. But I think overall, one thing that they still will be worried about is Atharva Taide. He's sucked momentum out of their innings for a long time. Be it opening today at number 3. Again, I felt
But he
if
played a good
someone
knock against Lucknow, didn't he?
Yeah, he played a good
he
knock
did
against
play good
Lucknow
against
and he had
Nottingham.
another good cameo in the last game as well. But
Mumbai
talking
as
about
well.
Atharva Taide, I feel Harpreet Singh Bhatia is a better suited player in this
Yeah,
team.
yeah, possibly because of the experience factor.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Atharva Taide, he's scored at a decent strike rate. But then issue with him has been, he has been either he's not been getting, I mean, he's not been really aggressive with the bat, and then he's ended up scoring in the 15s or the 20s. Otherwise, he's been going gun ho, but then picking the wrong ball to get out, the wrong timing to get out. So, I mean, it's not wrong of Punjab Kings to try him because that's been the thing that they've been criminal about. They've never really kept going after a player. And if your team is winning, then you can carry like someone like Atharva Taide as long till he comes good. But yeah, I think Harpreet Singh Bhatia would also be not a bad shout because at this point in time, it just feels like there's something off about Atharva Taide, at least for me.
Absolutely. Maybe we can talk about this, but then let's talk about the good factors as well. That innings from Liam Livingston where he turned it around. That 20-run note, we just gave credit to Tushar Deshpande, but then that was the turning point in the larger scheme of things where you felt Chennai was slightly running away with the game with 2 overs. In the previous 2 overs, they just considered 5 runs, and now with that over where 24 odd runs came, you felt like Punjab got right back into that game. And as Teju mentioned, Jitesh Sharma, what a player this guy is turning out to be. Last year, something which Dinesh Karthik did, but this guy is doing it on a consistent basis. He got the India call up for a reason as well. I mean, he has got that nerves, man. To come in and do a job, 10 balls, use that T20 material right there, which Indian selectors and everybody should take a note of. He can come in and do a job. That first ball which he hit Jadeja for 101 meters. What do you make of Jitesh Sharma and talk about Liam Livingston's that over as well, Sandipani?
Yeah, I think first of all, talking about Liam Livingston's 24 run over, I think that got them the game, because 72 needed of 5 overs, 24 runs, one third of the job is done in the first over itself. And then suddenly you have 48 of 4, which looks gettable even if you don't have a Liam Livingston. You have a Jitesh Sharma, Sam Curran,
Yeah,
Sikandar Raza
Shahrukh Khan.
waiting in the Shahrukh Khan, Sikandar Raza. So they had enough batting, they had enough firepower. I think they could have got in a Harpreet Bar as well if needed. Rahul Chahar can also strike the ball sometimes. So 48 of 4 was something that was gettable. So I think that was exceptional hitting from him. He realized, he understood which bowler to target. He knew Tushar Deshpande will more often than not give you those deliveries where you can actually go for the shots. If you get out caught at the deep, it's your luck. But more often than not, if you can just time the ball well, and the way he started off that onslaught with the first six being a flat, I haven't seen a flatter six this season. I think Rinku Singh's six of Gujarat Titans was the flattest that I had seen this season. But right now, Liam Livingston hitting that flat six, not over long off, but straight too long off, was one of the flattest hits that I've seen, and he's one of the cleanest strikers of the game, one of the most dangerous. I love Liam Livingston batting, so I was missing Liam Livingston in that Punjab camp, but finally he's back. He is doing a good job, 40 of 24, brilliant job. And talk about Jitesh Sharma, I think he has been one of the. I think he's a very good wicket keeping option that India will have in the future as well for your T20 side. And it's not just about
Agreed.
your unorthodox shots and going at a strike rate of 200, because we saw Dinesh Karthik do that as well. But some of the conventional shots that he hits, I think that shot of Jadeja was one of the prime examples that if you can back your power, if you can back your talent, and just go for those conventional shots, you can clear any boundary with ease. And to do it in that pressure, when the team needs 40 odd runs of 3 overs, with 5 wickets in hand, I think that is something else. Jitesh Sharma is a player for the future for sure.
Absolutely, I agree with you totally on that. Finally, a word, Jaren, on this game, this chase by Punjab. This is going to give them a lot of confidence, isn't it? Because now winning a game in Chennai in itself is a big deal, but this is definitely going to get their campaign back in track, because the last game was a hammering, 257 conceded, but then they never gave up. That experience of chasing that big total, they just brought that into the fore and took that to the next level. I think this is going to give them a lot more confidence. Now, if their bowling also can step up, 2 games where they're considered 200 is something which they like to reflect upon. But then, as a team, the morale is going to be back high again.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a long time, Mumbai Indians were the only team who were able to win in Chennai. Now, two teams, Rajasthan and Punjab, have done it. But it's not. It's never easy. It was still a yellow cauldron today to have face that kind of crowd, that kind of pressure, which is great from them, and really have to give credit to again someone like Jitesh Sharma. I mean, when you guys were speaking about him, what I really like about Jitesh Sharma is he creates boundary riding opportunities. What he did today was, he opened his body up, played on the offside, then closed it. Got inside the line of the ball, played on the leg side, and he's very good down the ground as well. So you have to give credit to what Punjab are pulling up, because some of the youngsters in the team are really stepping up. Not really, the international stars are yet to come up. Sikandar Raza only did cleaning up work, what was already established by someone like Prabh Singh and Jitesh Sharma. So what this team really needs is confidence, and the more and more they win from these situations, I think the better it will be. Today, again, they were not the better team, you would have to say. It was CSK for most periods of time, but when it mattered, this Punjab team pulled things together, and those are the kind of matches that really give you the confidence to win a tournament.
Yeah, I agree with you, because these are the kind of matches which MS Dhoni don't really lose. You often talk about MS Dhoni
Yeah.
being very clinical from these kind of positions. He often tries to get the grip of things and close the game out. That's why we appreciate Chepauk and Chennai Super Kings and their formidable record there. But then somewhere down the line, as also Teju mentioned, he went slightly wrong in terms of holding back Jadeja. He might have used Jadeja there and apply a little bit more pressure instead of bringing Tushar Deshpande, which gave away, the runs which we saw. He says footwork is overrated. Chad Dubey is having a great season. I mean, you have to give appreciation to the Chad Dubey, as I will call him again. I think that's a good name for him. What a season he's having, man. I mean, one of those players who found Chennai to be the home and have rediscovered himself. He's having a range of Chris Gale at this point. Just hitting everywhere. There's no footwork. Just stand and deliver, clearing all the ropes and big ones rather. He's just been able to have that kind of impact. I mean, not a lot of players have had it, and I think Chennai have unearthed, or I've found a gem in him. That talent he finally possessed is now unraveled here. Maybe you will know in few years' time. Maybe Chennai have found an investment for next 5 years. So that is a good part. That's about it from us. I think we've almost covered everything for tonight. Today it was two crazy games. I mean, it's been very long for us. I started watching the game at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 12:30 now. 10 hours, and we're still up and running. I think it's about time we get some sleep and come back tomorrow. Thankfully, it's just one game tomorrow, so we can come back tomorrow after 12 hours. But yeah, there's a lot of footballing action as well. So we have some footballing podcasts lined up for you. For a football fan, do not miss out on that, because the Premier League is getting crazy. La Liga is getting a one-way tie. Bundesliga is getting very crazy. A lot of things happening. Napoli tonight of not winning the Serie A. So these things are happening. Thank you, Sandipani and Jaren, for joining. It was a pleasure taking all the questions as well. And we'll be coming back tomorrow. So do not forget to download our app. It's there available on the Apple App Store and also the Google Play Store. And if you haven't already tried out the predictor feature, do try that out. It's something exciting. You can predict the future outcomes, your favorite players' scores, and who's going to possibly be the leading scorer in a particular match. So do not, why do you have to just talk about this to your friends when you can predict this on our app and then win prizes for absolute free of cost? Instead of doing this on WhatsApp, do it on Boom 11. The link is in the description right below. Have a good night, all of you. Bye bye.
Good night, guys.